We've got a call from Becca in San Bernardino, California. Becca, how are you? How can I help?
Hey, oh my gosh. You've already helped me so much. So
thanks.
Thank you for that. The month of January, I needed to hear from God. So I fasted social media because that was a big problem for me. And right when that happened, my husband said, you have to listen to this genius woman. And he listens to Dave while he's at work all day. But, I have just learned so much about the passion in growing your business. In September, we had a family emergency happen with my husband at work. He's a police officer, and we've had a big pay cut. And so I've had all of these dreams that I know God's placed in my life, but I just don't know how to fully make them to grow into a business. In the fall, we have a big piece of property that we live on, and there's a barn. And so I had a maker's market at my home, and I hosted it. About 10 women that just have small business out of their home or their Instagram, they came in person, and I had a woman speaker just for encouragement, and we had worship. It was awesome. But my big question is, how do I feel funny about charging people to come to my home, even though it's more of like a business and a marketplace, but I feel like, how do I charge them for ministry? And I understand that like churches can do this for Bible studies, and they, you pay to partake in whatever service is being offered, but I just feel awkward about it.
Yeah, that's the thing, Becca. It's funny. We all have these weird feelings around money, don't we? Like, we feel guilty charging. We feel weird talking about money. We feel weird when people give us money. Like, even if you are so confident in what you're doing, when someone actually hands you a check or cash, like, you get all squirmy. You don't make eye contact. Like, it's a real thing. It's not just because you're in business. In ministry. I'll tell you that. It's a real thing in all types of business. But let's just break this down for a second, okay? When you put on this market, and you're specifically talking about the market, right? Charging for like a place in the market?
Yeah.
Okay. When you put this on, let's just talk about what kind of work goes into it. What are you doing for that?
Well, it's pretty awesome because your passion in growing a business, like one of your questions are, what are you good at? And in writing all of this down, which is going to be hard to be able to take notes when you're talking to me right now. Normally all I do is just take notes during your podcast. But what I do is I just host. I love creating environment. I love decorating. It just comes effortless to me, which was also another one of your questions. I love hosting. We host Bible studies at our house. I love people. And so I create an environment, and I get tables. I provide food, I provide services, I orchestrate all of the vendors when they come, what time. We order bathrooms because there's an old barn in the back of our property, but there's no bathroom facilities. And so that's like something like a cost that goes into it. And so there is like a lot of behind the scenes, but at the same time, I still just feel funny because here I need to provide an extra income for my family. And I know this is a passion of mine, just to create a space for people to come and get off social media and get be together and
right.
Be like, and I call it my gathering and marketplace. So it's kind of like a 2-for-1.
I love it. Okay. So let's just talk about this. If you're viewing this as a ministry, then you can charge for this in multiple different ways. If you want to provide it for ladies to attend, for a free service to them that they attend, then you could have it funded different ways through sponsorships or the vendors. The vendors certainly need to be charged. Like, that's a no-brainer because they are paying to be there because they're getting to earn money from it. But I want you to think about the value you're offering. So when we think about what we're getting, we feel guilty. I'm getting money. But you said something, Becca, that I think is really interesting. You said you need to provide income for your family. That actually has nothing to do with it. Because you could be a multimillionaire, Becca, and you should still charge for this because there's value. So I don't want you to focus on what you're getting money. I want you to focus on what you're giving. You're giving value. And when you're giving value and you're creating an experience, and when you're giving solutions and a speaker and bathrooms and all the things that these ladies are coming to, that has a value to it. Now let's just take the emotions out of it. When you go to, Becca, do you like coffee? Do you ever drink coffee?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If you go to Starbucks, for example, you are going to Starbucks to get a coffee, to get a latte, whatever, because you want the coffee more than you want your money. So when you give that barista $5, it's because you would rather have the coffee than your $5. She would rather have your $5 than her coffee. It is an exchange of value. And that's what business is. It's an exchange of value because you are giving something of value and people are giving you something of value. They want what you have more than what you do, and you want what they have, the money, more than what they do. So when you begin to take all the squirmy emotions out of it and you realize I'm giving value, then it takes a little bit of the pressure off. Now, I know when you view it as a ministry, there's more squirmy feelings around that. So I will tell you that what's so important to realize, and I tell women in all types of business this, it doesn't matter if you're nonprofit or for-profit, if you're in the church or in the marketplace, God is in your business because he is in you and you are in your business. Yes. And when the Bible says, do your work as unto the Lord, that has value. Becca, there is a podcast episode I want you to listen to of the Business Boutique podcast. If you haven't listened to it, it's with Stephanie Meek. And she runs Five Daughters Bakery that has these unbelievable donuts. They are so delicious.
I listened to it.
Okay.
Yes, I just listened to it.
So you may remember where I asked her the question, how do you not feel guilty charging? You're a believer and you've got really expensive donuts. Like Becca, her donuts are crazy expensive. And she said, well, I don't see it as something where because I'm a believer, I shouldn't charge. She goes, I feel a deeper responsibility to charge, to honor this thing that God has given me, to honor and steward this thing that God has entrusted me with. And so if you flip the switch and you begin to look at it as something that you are stewarding for the kingdom, that you are going to honor even more because it does have value, that should help. I think that if you begin to work on some of that, and I will tell you it's a muscle. So if you never exercise it, that muscle's weak. The more you exercise it, the stronger that muscle will become and the easier it will become to talk about it. But it's a great question. I hear your heart. You love these women. And again, if you don't want to charge them to come, you can get sponsors. You can have other ways. You can charge more to the vendors. You can do it other ways. But regardless of who you're charging, whether it's the vendors or the attendees, just know that you are providing value and that value is worth something. It's worth someone paying for. That's such a great question.